Georgia Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene posted on X that Judge Scott Mcafee should have recused himself from the case because he previously worked for District Attorney Fani Willis and donated to her campaign.
Welcome back, Warriors. It's me, Linda B. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. So today I do have a little bit more about Fani Willis and that disqualification. But before we get started, I want y'all to remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, watch the video to the end, hit the notification bell. Thank you all so much for being with me here today on my way to 30,000 subscribers, 35,000 by the end of May. Thank you all so much. You've been such a great support. Also follow me on Rumble, ChatWithMeLindaB, all one word. And I'm also on social media as ChatWithMeLindaB. Now, without further ado, let's get into it.
Tonight, the man presiding over former President Donald Trump's Fulton County election interference trial is now fighting for his job.
Now, the dynamic between Judge McAfee and DA Fani Willis may be further complicated.
Judge McAfee, for a time, served in the district attorney's office here in Fulton County in their complex trials division. And the person who was leading that division, Fani Willis, who's now the district attorney here in Fulton County and is the one who has brought these charges against the former president and 18 others.
Georgia Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene posted on X that Judge Scott Mcafee should have recused himself from the case because he previously worked for District Attorney Fani Willis and donated to her campaign. So is that true? Our Verified team did some digging for you today, and here's what we found out. Our sources include state campaign finance records, the Superior Court of Fulton County, and Charlie Bailey, an attorney and former Democratic candidate for lieutenant governor. So first up, the claim that Judge McAfee donated to DA Willis's campaign, that is true. Campaign finance records show he gave $150 to her campaign in 2020.
Using the title of your office and having on social media that you, as this political office holder, are holding a fundraiser for the opponent of someone that this political office is investigating. I don't know that it's an actual conflict, but I use that phrase, what were you thinking? Where the prosecutor thought I could prosecute the co-defendant of someone I defended. It's a what are you thinking moment. The optics are horrific. If you are trying to have the public believe that this is a nonpartisan, driven by the facts, and I'm not here to critique decisions, the decision was made, but if we are trying to maintain confidence that this investigation is pursuing facts in a nonpartisan sense, no matter who the district attorney is, we follow the evidence where it goes and ignore the fact that I hosted a fundraiser for the political opponent of someone I've just named a target.
So here, this particular judge is clearly talking to Judge Scott Mcafee, who, of course, is over the Georgia, the case, the hearing with Fani Willis and all of that, trying to decide whether she should be disqualified. And here the judge is saying, not sure if it's a clear conflict. To me, it is, because he donated to her campaign, had a fundraiser. He didn't donate a lot. Someone left in the comments, what's $150? But is still appearing to be like partisan based and not completely fair. And it could be, like he said, political. And so we know that Scott McAfee right now himself, you know what, is really kind of funny, because everyone that's going after Donald Trump or has some part to play in him being, jailed or in trouble for this so-called election interference, trying to subvert or whatever, now they're being eyeballed, because it looks like Scott McAfee is fighting for his job. That's right. Scott McAfee is fighting for his job. Yes, because, and we've known for months that I've known, and you all have known for months, but maybe there was just talk of it and they just didn't get the actual verification they've heard of it. Maybe they just want to make sure that this is in fact true. Now it's bubbling up to the surface. So he's fighting for his job. Fani Willis is fighting for her job. Donald Trump is trying to get a job back. So everybody is like, scrambling here. So we're going to see what else is happening with this.
That strikes me as problematic maybe not from an actual conflict level, but if we are at a cocktail party and people are asking, do you think that this is a fair and balanced approach to things? I do. Well, how do you explain this? How does one explain? I mean, that's the concern I'm working through, is that it's not a lowercase a appearance. It's like a capital A with flashy lights fundraiser district attorney for the political opponent of someone I've named the target of my investigation, where I'm the legal advisor to the grand jury, and I'm on national media almost nightly talking about this investigation. That's problematic.
Okay.
We were happy with the fact that it appears to me that Judge McAfee is going to make sure that the others waive their speedy trial.
Civil rights attorney Robert Patillo announced this week that he will challenge Fulton County Superior Court Judge Scott Mcafee.
Now, the dynamic between Judge McAfee and DA Fani Willis may be further complicated by the fact that both of them are up for re-election this year.
Both Judge McAfee and DA Willis are incumbents. I speak with two panelists. Here's their take on how the judge and the DA will fare come the fall.
He had a Solomon-like split the baby decision.
Judge Scott Mcafee's ruling to let DA Fani Willis stay on the election interference case could factor heavily in this year's political campaign.
That's going to be a big election issue, I think, for the judge.
McAfee, a Republican, is up for re-election as Superior Court judge in Fulton County.
Politically, I think Judge McAfee is in serious political trouble.
Right now, McAfee faces opposition from lawyer and talk show host Robert Patillo and Tiffany Johnson, a former staff attorney for a Fulton County judge. Phil Kent is a Republican strategist.
Well, he could lose. My phone blew up with a lot of Republicans saying, I'm not voting for this guy.
Yeah, that's going to be Judge Scott McAfee.
His phone blew up saying, I'm not going to vote for this guy. See, a lot of times people try to play cute, split the baby down the middle. You know, you can stay on the case, Fani, but your boyfriend one of you has to go. And of course, it was going to be Nathan Wade. And she was going to stay on the case because this woman is, spotlight hungry. And this is allegedly supposed to help her career. Of course it is. We know that. And so now, Scott McAfee, the judge, Scott McAfee is under the spotlight as well. And a lot of Republicans saying, I don't want to vote for him because a lot of people on the conservative side don't like it when people are too apologetic for their beliefs. They don't like it when they don't wholeheartedly support what they believe, what is right. And in Judge Scott McAfee's case, he split the baby down the middle. He was trying not to offend certain constituents, people that support Fani Willis, and he was trying to not offend completely those who don't support her, who support the former President Donald Trump. It's an election year, so he's trying to be strategic, but his strategy looks like it might not work. This is an election year, and people are trying to do what they have to do to stay in their position.
Is 34 years old and rather new to the job as well. Duty of presiding over one of the most potentially historic cases in American history. 19 defendants, just about all of them well known to the public, including former President Donald Trump, former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani, former Chief of Staff Mark Meadows. But Judge McAfee has crossed paths with a lot of big players here in the state of Georgia. For example, it is no mystery that Governor Brian Kemp and the former president have been at odds since the 2020 election. It just so happens that it was Governor Kemp who appointed McAfee to be a state inspector general back in 2021. And then when there was a vacancy on the bench here, he appointed him then last year. Now there's the possibility of all of that coming together again. But there's also been another crossing of paths as well. Judge McAfee, for a time, served in the district attorney's office here in Fulton County in their complex trials division. And the person who was leading that division, Fani Willis, who's now the district attorney here in Fulton County and is the one who has brought these charges against the former president and 18 others. McAfee.
See, this is why politics can get messy. Brian Kemp, the governor of my state, Georgia, has been up against, the former President Donald Trump. So is he a true MAGA Republican, knowing what we know, what happened? And now he gets someone like Scott McAfee, who is a Republican. Oh, he's a Republican. but he seems to be leaning Fani Willis's way every time they're in the courtroom together. Soft on her and everything, allowing her to take over the courtroom. And she knows that she can act the way she did. Anyone else would have been held in contempt of court. Ridiculous how she was acting, almost pretty much ghetto, and with a dress on backwards. But anyway, I digress on the dress. Oh, that rhymed. Okay. Anyway, yeah, so politics, you got people that are supposedly Republicans, but are they MAGA Republicans or are they rhinos? You know, pretending to be the former president's, supporter, and then you do this. Not right. Not right on so many levels. Look at how colluded this is. Judge Scott Mcafee worked with Fani Willis before, gave to her campaign, had a fundraiser for her. He shouldn't have been on this. He shouldn't have been on it.
He was appointed to the bench in 2022 by Governor Brian Kemp to serve a partial 2-year term.
Thrusted into the spotlight with former President Donald Trump's RICO case, Fulton County Superior Court Judge Scott Mcafee has a lot on his plate when looking ahead to the November election.
With scheduling and where we are with the motions practice and everything else, that's something we're going to have a talk with all the parties. There's a lot of moving parts, and in the case, we're still working at it every single day.
But tonight, he's focused on his own election during a Fulton County candidate forum. He didn't go into details about his cases, but says he can handle the pressure.
You have to make a ruling one way or another, so you can't always expect to make both sides happy. In fact, you rarely do.
Mcafee says he's proud of the work he's done despite criticism. For example, during the forum, he was asked about the backlog of criminal cases with reports that defendants are waiting for months in jail for their day in court.
When I started out, I had over 100 people waiting in jail for their day in court. I just ran the numbers today. I'm down to 35. I had 53 pending murder cases. I'm now down to 20. We are cracking away at it.
And with his first full-term election around the corner, he has this to say to voters.
I've got 400 other cases that I'm managing as well, and I'm trying to give those just the same sense of urgency and importance as anything else on my docket.
Also on Thursday.
Excuses. I don't know how hard it is to be, to be in that kind of position. See, he said he got the numbers down, but it might be playing funny with the numbers when you have certain types of politicians.
Thursday, the Fulton County Board of Ethics removed 2 complaints tied to the DA from their agenda, noting McAfee's pending decision as well as a state investigation at the Capitol. They said Willis is a state officer, so any complaints should be handled by state bodies, not the county ethics board.
But I recognize that other proceedings in the legislative and judicial branches of Georgia state government are taking up the matter and reviewing these actions with greater rigor and detail than has been presented in the complaints before us.
This is the latest step in what has been an exhaustive effort by the Trump team to have the case dismissed and Willis and her entire office removed.
Former President Trump is appealing a key ruling in the Georgia election interference case, saying that the judge was wrong in keeping the DA, Fani Willis, on the case.
This morning, a judge is considering a motion to dismiss charges against former President Donald Trump in the Georgia 2020 election interference case.
Now we are following the latest in the Fulton County District Attorney disqualification saga.
Even after her lead prosecutor stepped down, Donald Trump and 8 of his co-defendants filed an appeal to get District Attorney Fani Willis removed too from the high-stakes election interference case in Georgia. The appeal calling Willis, quote, utterly unrepentant about her romantic relationship with former prosecutor Nathan Wade.
Once you have the appearance of impropriety under forensic misconduct, the law in Georgia is clear. That's enough to disqualify.
Judge Scott Mcafee, who first heard the Trump team's complaint, was unconvinced Willis benefited financially from her relationship with Wade, but said there was significant appearance of impropriety and ruled only one of them had to leave the case. The Trump team now calling that decision a, quote, plain legal error requiring reversal and asking the Georgia Court of Appeals to weigh in immediately before any trial takes place. The disqualification effort has distracted from the underlying criminal charges at hand. Willis saying as much, frustrated when she took the stand last month.
You're confused. You think I'm on trial. These people are on trial for trying to steal an election in 2020.
Are those people the one that were trying to do that? Or is the person in that backwards pink dress in her side of the political aisle trying to do that? Yes. The DMs love to accuse people of what they actually do. But anyway, you all tell me what you think. I personally think that the appeal is the right thing to do for Trump's team, to appeal the decision by Scott Mcafee, because she has clear impropriety in an inappropriate relationship that clearly, allegedly, she benefited from financially, and misappropriation also of federal funds. And she was, called to Congress by, Jim Jordan. So all of these things in place, the inappropriate relationship, misappropriation of funds, the fact that Scott Mcafee, ran a fundraiser for DA Willis, Fani Willis, all of that together reeks of the fact that Fani Willis should not be on this Georgia election interference case. Not only just Nathan Wade should be gone, both of them should be gone, and some people that have more ethics and moral behavior when it comes to how to handle things legally should be brought in. That's just my opinion. You all tell me what you think. Looks like everybody is fighting for their job. Yes, I say it again. Fani Willis wants to stay on this case. Now Judge Mcafee wants to stay because it's an election year. He had to make some people a little happy and some not so mad. And then former President Donald Trump wants to return to the White House. Leave me your comments. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Thank you all so much for watching. You all be blessed. And as I always say, march on, warriors.